Identify and book the world's best speakers for your next event. Mina Speakers is the leading speakers and MC bureau in the Middle East. We bring global talent to the region and have established the region as a key global hub for speakers. Inspire and motivate your audience. Find exactly what you are looking for by working closely with us to assist you in understanding the cost-benefit analysis tied to selecting a speaker for any event. Ensure that your audience is educated, engaged, and empowered. Connect with us for a quick response and tailored advice. Book your speakers now.
Good morning, good evening, depending upon what part of the world you're in. If it's Friday, it's the CEO series, where we bring together global leaders, entrepreneurs, and disruptors, where we discuss a variety of topics. Today, our esteemed guest is Iftikhar Hamdani, Area General Manager, Bahi Ajman Palace Hotel, Coral Beach Resort, Sharjah. Our topic of discussion is sustainability as a business case. He has over 20 years experience in the hospitality industry. He's been named the brand ambassador and recognized as the President's Award for CSR. He is a recipient of the Alim Sustainable Development Excellence Award for CSR as a CSR champion, general manager, and inspirational general manager. He has been recognized by the Gulf Sustainability and CSR Awards as the CSR Professional of the Year, Game Changer, Inspiring Hotel Leader, Versatile Excellence Travel Award, and it goes on and on. But with that, I welcome my good friend, Iftikhar. How are you?
Thank you, Ron. Thank you very much for inviting me in your show. Thank you.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you. You know, that our topic, sustainability as a business case. And one of the things I have always admired by you, you were into sustainability before it became cool, so to speak. So you've kind of become an ambassador as it relates to sustainable programs, Mr. Sustainability, if you will. What piqued your interest in sustainability even before it became kind of a cool topic?
Well, Ron, this journey actually started when I was a student. I was in Lahore, Pakistan, in the Haley College of Commerce. And during that time, I had one book, it's an autobiography of Abdul Staridi. And this Abdul Staridi is voluntarily doing a lot of good thing for people. And that book has changed, especially for the charity point of view in my life. The person has dedicated his life when he migrated from India to Pakistan in 1947. And since then, he has started working for the good things for the people. His story was amazing. He had one of the biggest ambulance fleet in Pakistan. Starting from small job to reaching on this level, big name in Pakistan. So I was going through with the book, and then I was thinking, that one guy is making this much difference in a society. And imagine, if I will be tomorrow in a practical life and I can involve my company or my organization, that will be also a big impact to that company or society. Mm-hmm. So I left Pakistan. I came in United Arab Emirates in 1999, December 1999. I joined Coral Beach Resort, Sharjah. And within this 5-6 years time, I was making, my career growth from the reservation clerk to a GM level. And finally, I got a position of GM, and when I got that position, I realized that there are so many ways where we can engage ourselves to make actually profit with the commercial objective. And at the same time, we can do a normal job also. So the charitable, things came in my life because of the turning point was that one book, autobiography of Abdul Staridi. Yeah. But sustainability part is pure commercial, objective. When I started as a GM, I saw that people were not staying in a property. Property was not doing good business. 65% of turnover of staff, and property was not really a good business or good profit. And owner was not really happy with the results. So when I joined, actually, so I started focusing on people, and that is called human sustainability, because people talk about the energy conservation, but I started actually started working on the people, building on the team, and from there onward, I realized that, as a matter of fact, it's all commercial objective. You get actually a lot of benefit when you have the energy conservation, when you have the waste management, and that was the area where I had actually maximized my profit by reducing the expense and increasing the revenue. And the middle part was all profit, So it was actually purely commercial objective at that time, not being a responsible person, but purely as in a business sense. And I got a lot of benefit out of it, and even till now I'm enjoying actually by doing a practical work in sustainability actually.
Yeah, that's amazing story because you were connected through people. You talked about turnover, which is a huge issue. How do you sustain a staff in doing that? So people sustainability, pretty cool topic, in talking through that. Did that sound foreign to people as you began talking through the people side, sustainability, connecting that? Did people pick it up, or was it a hard sell? Or
Yeah, I mean, initially, you need to win the trust of the people. Being a leader, when you come up front and you are inspiring, with your action, you're delivering, so people, they can see your action and they trust on you. And when you're doing good things for the people, and what I did actually, I was talking to the owner as a union leader actually to talk to defend your staff. I mean, you were not really as a general manager. So the owner also realized that someone natural person in front of me, because he's always talking about the staff, their good accommodation. I shifted accommodation from outside to the hotel nearest location, giving them good food, creating a good sports activities for them. So people saw actually a difference. It's not only like increasing of salaries, because that we expat living in UAE, we are away from family.
Yeah.
And that people go after 2 years on a vacation, and then actually your family is where you're working.
Yeah.
And because I started my career as a reservation clerk and I was on sharing accommodation, so I have realized all those problems. And then I was defending on behalf of my staff. And then I was winning all the time, because when results were coming good and hotel was non-profit, and we turned into really one of the highest profit in our competition. So owner realized that it's a win-win situation actually, because he's taking care of his staff. At the end, it's a benefit for him. And we were giving a good service, because when you are having a happy people or happy staff, ultimately they are delivering a good service. And at the end, people are coming back, and we had a repeated clientele, repeated companies. And then at the end, it was a profit for the owner. And then we made a real business case study actually, which many people are following actually.
You mentioned actions. So sometimes when you see leadership, they will say, we're going to do rah, rah, rah. And then they don't exhibit those actions, which is important, because if you exhibit that, and you talking about you exhibited, and the owner understood that, and that was able to cascade down through the organization, because they saw what was the organization was doing.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So if you were to talk to leaders, say not only in hospitality, but leaders in another organization that was possibly experiencing some of the same things, because what you inherited there could be the same in any or other organization. I could be a technology company. I could be a company that's experiencing turnover. People are leaving. People are not satisfied. People are not engaged. What advice would you give them as a leader?
I mean, it's a really very important round that we need to understand that people are very important actually in your team. Unless, I mean, it's not only like in an organization company. I mean, if you are a prime minister, if you do not have really a good picked minister in your cabinet, I mean, it's same goes. That results will not come. So it's very important that when you're hiring your team, you need to have the right people in your team. So I mean, my success actually, for example, in food and beverage, that I never get any even commi 1 or commi 2, commi 3 chefs, in my team. without getting a trial. So you need to really pick the right people. And then very important thing is that you don't need to be a manager, you need to be a coach. So when I'm working, actually, I'm going there to correct them rather than, going over there and taking them out and getting a new. Being a coach, I need to see that where is the potential. You cannot imagine that food and beverage managers were a banquet waiter actually. So when I saw that the guy, he is working night till 2 o'clock, morning 7 o'clock, again he is at work, and then it goes for 7 days. So
Oh,
this Sri Lankan guy, I went there and I called him. I asked Cheryl, please call Chandana. I want to meet him. And I said that, Chandana, I want to see you one day, food and beverage manager. And he said, no, 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 boss, I will never be. I said, how you can say that you never be? Because you are the best and you can do it. You need to trust on your abilities and you need to do one, two, three. And believe you me, he was not ready. We push him. And today, this guy is cluster F&B manager for 2 hotels. The same guy. The reason, because you being a leader need to release the potential of other people, because I become a leader. No, I need to create more leaders in my team. And that's what is a message to all the organizations or even to the governments, that you people have to really choose the right people. And in case you think that somebody is lacking, then you need to be a coach and then you need to really release the potential of those people actually.
mm. One of the pillars when I do leadership development, I use that theme: leaders as coach, not leaders as managers, leaders as coach. That's your team. How do you coach that team to higher performance? And it's amazing, when I've known you for a long time, and the things that you talk about are the things that's being discussed now in leadership development, because all of the things you talked about, looking at challenges inside of an organization and connecting it back to people, if we get the people side correct, the other things will pretty much fall into place.
Of course, yeah. I think I need to change my job now, to follow you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you would be great. As a matter of fact, we'll talk offline about that, because you would be great to talk more and develop more leaders. I need to develop more leaders as opposed to develop more workers or managers, because the leader with the coaching MO is from a business case perspective, it makes more sense to the owners to have that, to have that built into the culture of the organization.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
So when you talked about the gentleman who was working 7 days a week, who maybe did not have the confidence to do that, and you were able to coach that, how did that play out inside of the organization? The other people, that when they see someone who started here and now they are moving up, did that kind of enhance the environment or the culture inside of the organization?
See, Ron, that when I started this is just like a one pick, which I'm sharing with you. I had the receptionist, he become director sales. I
Hmm.
had the reservationist today, she's operation manager.
Wow.
I had actually created so many people. I had another reservation guy, he is the director sales, another hotel. So, that I picked those people, I coached them, and then I realized that these people will be real asset for the success of the company.
Mhm.
And that was the reason that we had actually better financial result compared to the competition. And then, the staff turnover was just 2%. Imagine 65% to reach 2%, because everybody had hope that, that we are going to get actually,
Mm.
because we have a leader, he will take care of us. And that's why we had a promotions and increment every year.
Mhm.
Every year there was a profit. Every year there is a bonus. So if owner is getting, staff are getting. And I always tell them that, guys, listen, this is our business. We own it. We are not over here for a job. And unless you will not own it, you will not bring the result. And
Mhm.
why someone will own it, because it is only possible when you will deliver also. It's a two-way, it's not one-way love at all. So when
Mhm.
they are delivering, I'm the mediator. I'm in between the owners and my staff. And if we will not take care of my staff and I will be taking care only the owner, then it will be very imbalanced.
Yeah.
So that is the reason that the success will come when you are balancing, because you are in between. So I win the trust of the staff. At the same time, I win the trust of the owner.
Yeah.
Owner is happy because his
Yeah.
profit is there. Every
Yeah.
year he is getting, and then we are delivering back to the staff. And that's the reason that we have a promotions. And I have a respect even till today. Even I changed my organization, but those people are sending good morning every day, and I'm receiving a lot of messages every day because I have a connection with them, and
Yeah.
I win the trust. Though I'm not there, but still they are in love with me.
Mhm. Mhm. I read an article. Richard Branson was saying that he does not worry about customer satisfaction scores. He said, my goal is to take care of the people who are taking care of the customers. Another good friend of mine was the CEO for a major hospital, NMC Hospital, in Abu Dhabi. And his thought was, I take care of the people who take care of the people. If you do that, you don't have to worry about all the business indicators because all of those will follow. Which
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree, fully agree with him.
Yeah. So from a business perspective, because normally you don't see sustainability, you don't think of these leadership kind of approaches in making a business case. So why would that be hard for an owner or a leader not to see that if we take care of these people who's doing the work, it's all gonna come back to us in some way, shape, or form. Why is that such a hard sell today? Because sometimes when you talk to leaders, they're just totally clueless as it relates to that.
I think that it's only mindset, and when I say that, like for example, I did actually as in a business case study for sustainability. It's a real, because that when initially I took a charge as a general manager, I mean my focus was to get the profitability, and one side, because I was good in sales, so I had a good connection with the tour operator internationally, locally, with the corporate, because I started 99 as in sales. So I was not worried for the sales, but my more focus was that how to increase actually the GOP. We call it gross operating profit in a hotel line. So to maximize the profit, it was very important that I need to reduce the expense. So reduction of expense, was mainly the top 10 was the payroll. Then you had the utility cost. These were like the main expense. And then down the line, there are so many other expenses. So utility is a major issue in the hotel. So when I started working on that, there was a lot of waste drawn, in waste management, waste collection. Then we were paying 120,000. Then we had actually the energy bill 549,000 dirham. I mean, it was a huge. I don't know. I mean, to calculate in dollars. So in 1 month, I mean, this much bill. I mean, it was a big worry. So I started, thinking about that. We made a committee on energy conservation, and then that was really the initial thought that how we can increase actually the profit. But we realized that there was a lot of waste actually. There was a wastage in staff accommodation, wastage in room when people are guests are not in the room, and then electricity is on, ACs are on, even in a cool weather like November, December, January also. So we started thinking that these are the waste. If we will convert this waste, this will be pure profit actually. So that was actually the commercial sense when I realized that there is a lot of opportunity working on it. Like for example, the 65% turnover staff. That in UAE we have the visa cost. So when a person is leaving and you're hiring a new person, there was a big cost actually. So people were coming, leaving. So we were paying a huge amount. When we have reduced the reduction of this the turnover, and we had the high retention of staff, ultimately that cost become a profit actually, because we had no more cost actually. We were not paying actually to labor department or the immigration department. So similarly, I mean, there were so many areas which we realized that this is a commercial benefit actually, and nobody is thinking about it. And at the end, the hotel was doing actually less profit than it is going high profit, and we went on a top, I mean, the profit. And major share was all those reduction, which was really a waste. Like for example, we were cooking a lot of food, and we were not really monitoring properly. So when I went in micro level, I realized that half board, full board, the guests are not equivalent, but we are cooking actually more for them. And a lot of waste was going actually on the landfill. So these kind of the actions which every day you don't monitor, when we went on micro level, we realized that as a matter of fact, there is sustainability benefit which nobody is talking about. We are always looking at responsibility part, but we forgot actually the commercial part. Everybody, if you look at it as a commercial part, I think we can gain more faster way than the responsibility, because people are not being responsible. If you look them that you have a benefit if you will be adopting these practices in your organization, then definitely everybody will take interest in it.
You make it sound so simple. I mean, it's so simple that when you talk about it, why can't organizations understand that? And it may not be in your business, you're talking about the food costs and all those kind of things. But in other businesses, organizations could also use that same mindset to
Of
look at some
course,
small things to try and enhance the people experience, which goes to the customer experience. Why is it so
absolutely.
why is it so hard lots of times, even as you travel the globe and talking to sustainability, what do you see as a kind of a stumbling block for leaders not to get this? When I say leaders, who's running these large organizations? What do you see as a major blockage?
I mean, maybe they don't believe in it still, because that realistically, we have already delivered. And I spoke actually on different level in different colleges, universities. I was invited in different organizations, different hotels. I traveled. I talked to the general managers, and maybe they don't believe in it. Well, practically we have showed them that by doing these actions, there is really a practical benefit actually. That when you're using the technology, it really helps you a lot. If you don't have a technology, like for example, one of the hotel, I do not have really a proper kind of BMS system, but we did everything actually on manual because I had 1200 AC units on the roof and I had no actually technology. But believe you me, by doing practical way, engaging the staff, and they were taking numbers of the guests who were going on the beach, coming back, going in Dubai and coming back to Ajman after their city
Yeah,
tour. And
yeah.
during this time in winter season, when they were switching off the AC, we were calculating actually on daily basis that we have a profit of 2,000 to 3,000 dirham per day. Imagine you are saving 100,000 dirham, which is 1.2 million at the end of the year actually.
Yeah.
And practically, I have shared this actually with my colleague general managers in different forums. And not that everybody is neglecting. So many people have adopted. They are following us and they're getting benefit out of it here.
Hmm. I heard a speech. I heard a speech a while back, and they asked two leaders, how many people are in, how many people do you employ in your R&D department, research and development? And one gentleman said three, four people, whatever it was. They asked the other gentleman. He says 1,200. And the host said, how do you have 1,200 people? He said, everyone that works in my organization is R&D, research and development. How can you do your job better? Always try and figure out a way to do it better, and we'll try and see whether that makes it work. So that's kind of the same thing that you're talking about, empowering people
Yes.
to look at what they're doing, and is there a better way, or is there cost savings that we can implement in some way? Isn't that kind of the same?
Ron, you know that I got the ample empowerment from the owners when I took this charge. And believe you me that I truly enjoyed empowerment as an honor. So each and every decision when I was making, I don't need to go back and look back and asking them that can I? So I was taking. So when I was enjoying this empowerment and I was not misusing it, I had the right head of department. I empowered them, and I told them also that guys, when I'm giving you this empowerment, it's not really gifted. I did not get it as a gift. I earned the trust of the owner and I'm enjoying it. And when I'm giving you, I have a fully trust on you.
Mm.
So you have to empower your supervisor and down the line. And this empowerment is really the key of success actually,
Yeah.
because you are taking decision expert and in the right way, and you don't need to delay at all. You are delivering on time. The customer is so happy, and then there is a sustainability. This is a long-term success actually.
Mhm.
It's a
So
key of
that's
success.
Yeah, people sustainability. So the other key point that, and I want people to understand, is that if you're trying to solve a problem, the people closest to the problem could have better insights than I would have sitting in an office someplace or coming around dressed like this, because they're closest to it.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. Because they are on job and they know better than you actually. Sometimes, believe you me, people pretend. I'm the general manager. And imagine if I'll go to chief engineer and start pretending that I know about engineering. No, I have one chief engineer. He is graduate. He has spent 20 years in engineering.
Yeah.
I cannot go and challenge that, say that no, over here, change this bulb because that I'm the GM. No, I have to respect his expertise,
Yes.
and then I have to empower him. So I need to listen from him, and
Mhm.
then mutually we need to take decisions. Then
Yeah. So that comes back to the big word, the big T word, trust. So that engineer that you're talking to, that engineer has to trust the relationship between the two of you. Every situation you've talked about, You've built a relationship with these people. They don't see you, oh my God, here's the boss coming and I got to do XYZ. But they see you as a colleague coming. You're the boss, but a colleague that I can feel free to have a conversation because we trust each other. How do you build trust?
See, I mean, it's very easy, like when I started, the sports activities for the staff. I mean, that is a
Ah,
real way because a person, I mean, he's doing cleaning the pots, he's behind in stewarding department, but he's one of the best footballer. So when I play along with them and I am a part of the team and we are working together and making strategy to win the game. So I did actually, I'm not a footballer, I'm a cricketer actually, so I played football, I went into basketball also.
yeah.
I had organized the sports for female only, and going over there and cheering. That when I'm sitting with them and I'm playing with them, so they don't call me like he's the GM. I mean, he's our colleague. He's the team member. Because
Yeah.
I'm not the captain. I mean, good player. He's the captain, and I'm going over there listening to him, and he's making strategy. And I'm part of team. I'm not the captain of the team. I'm along with them. So that in this case, your relationship becomes so close. I mean, recently we had actually the event for the staff. You have already, I think, that seen that video also.
Yeah,
I
we have
mean,
the video. Yeah.
you cannot imagine that the people, I mean, they have so much talent. When they came, it was like a Bollywood star or Hollywood star, believe you me. And the people are just hiding. When you're bringing them on front, I mean, they were practicing 1 month. I was a part of audition committee. I was there. I was correcting them. That we wanted to make really a best party. It should be not only like a fun, but it should be really. So 24 performances
Mm,
in just like starting 7 o'clock till midnight. So that when you're going close to the people,
yeah.
they trust on you and they become your friend actually.
There we
And
go.
you get better results. Imagine, there was a time, Ron,
Yeah.
when father and child relation was totally different. We used to say, Baba, we had a difference, we had a respect, we don't go close. No, time has changed. I mean, Sarem is coming when I'm going, hi, buddy, how are you? How was your day? So, I mean, it's changed. I mean, the time has changed. You have to come close. You need to empower them. You need to listen them. And not that traditionally HR will issue the termination letter. I don't accept it.
Yeah.
Even believe you me, there was a big mistake. And I request HR that please, I am the grantor of this person. Please don't terminate him, because he made one mistake, second, third. They said, boss, we are tired of. And believe you me, those people are one of the best team player at this time because I'm talking separately and I'm telling that, look, guys, I'm the GM, I'm the grantor. No shame on you. You need to change. Why you were drunk and you did this. It was not really good and it will
Yeah.
hurt your future. And no, I'm grantor. So that sometimes you need to play a role like this.
Yeah.
I really feel that sometimes, that the general managers, when they don't play this role and they are really, because of small mistake, taking these people out. Because you have 95% positive part and 5% of negative. And I feel sorry that the HR or the GMs, they are terminating those people.
Yeah.
And it's really pity.
Yeah, that's
It's
a
really
mind. That's a mindset I've noticed in the Middle East. One mistake right away, we terminate this person. So,
yeah.
and which I think needs to change. One of the key phrases you just mentioned was times have changed. And in another era, we may have managed that way, very strict. You cross the line, we will get rid of you. But now the new worker coming in, the new leadership style, which you have exhibited throughout your career, that's the go-to. That's the go-to of where leaders need to be going forward. And in a lot of cases, you may manage, say, I'm going to say non-skilled workers, maybe something like that. Not meaning in a negative way, but it's not the engineers, because the bulk of that could come from something as the gardener or somewhere along those lines. But it's a different day. And I think the challenge that I have lots of times is trying to get leaders to understand it's different. Let's try another approach because that approach worked before. But from a future perspective, we need to change that.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that especially the HR learning development, I mean, departments, these people, they need to really adopt. I think that there is a lot of change around also. I mean, I can see like in different organizations when they have really this talent learning development departments, they are doing really a coaching, they are doing a different training. So a lot of things are happening actually in this part of the world also. And I think Dubai is leading in this case, I mean, many organizations because they have back-to-back different, I mean, webinars, different conferences, and especially we are lucky that over here, the the leadership is visionary. They make the change so quick, and we can see, what changes are happening within Dubai also. So we can learn a lot of things from our leaders, because they are not really waiting. Actually, they take so quick actions, and then they made the change, and that reflect actually to the corporate also. Not only the government, it reflect out on the corporate, and definitely on the leaders in corporate also at the same time.
Yeah. So if you think of your role as, I'm going to say this using the metaphor, as a CEO of your unit, how are you developing your next level of leaders to come in with this people sustainability model? I love that term, people sustainability. How are you developing your minus ones from you, the leaders that are coming up into the business?
I mean, that for me, I put my full, the career in front of them. When I landed in UAE, my first interview was actually, one of the French general manager, when I was there. So he asked me one question, that what you want to be in 5 years time? And at spot, I said general manager. So he said 5 years and GM. I said, yes, vision should be always high, and I think that I can achieve it. And it took me 6 years to be a GM, not 5 years. Okay. But then both of us, we traveled together to attend actually World Travel Market in London, when he was a GM of another hotel and I was a GM. And then he was still remembering. He said, Iftikhar, I asked this question and you achieve it. So that it's very important for those youngsters to understand that you need to have really a vision, and you need to work on that vision. Not only to have the vision, and then you are just not. You have to have really a plan, and on that plan that you need to work really hard to achieve actually your goal. And unless you will not love with your vision what you have set, and you are not planning well, and you will not have a passion. And as I mentioned to you, that once you're on job, you need to consider that is your business actually. And when it comes in your mind, your mind, you will be passionate, you will be getting the results, and when you're getting results, automatically you will be a successful leader then.
Yeah. So the challenge with that is that you want your people to assume ownership, and that leader may not agree with that, because that leader may be still playing the old leader who wants to direct in everything, as opposed to playing that role of the coach. And that's kind of a balance that we have to kind of create.
That in this case, those people, because I don't count them as a leader, those managers will be loser, and they will be losing those people, a good quality of people. And I think that those people will be winner, because they will be leaving that place and finding a right place actually. Because that I don't count actually that they will be loser. They will be winner, and they will be choosing the right place to work and to fit themselves. But I mean, those managers, they will be actually loser, because they are not changing, they are not adopting themselves. The organization is not getting success also. And there are many cases actually, and some of them are really close. And when I'm sitting with them, and they are saying that, okay, we are not getting success, and they are, rolling ball from one property to another property. In 5-6 years, they are changing, their jobs also. The reason, because they are not accepting it, they are not changing, they are not really adopting with today world, and they're still in past. So you cannot get success at all. So it goes hand in hand, and then success will definitely come, and success will follow you actually, if you will be really following what actually we have already done as a case study.
Okay. So let's take a break now. I think we have that video of your teams. Okay, so let's take a break and watch that for a sec.
Okay, thank you.
Identify and book the world's best speakers for your next event. Mina Speakers is the leading speakers and MC bureau in the Middle East. We bring global talent to the region and have established the region as a key global hub for speakers. Inspire and motivate your audience. Find exactly what you are looking for by working closely with us to assist you in understanding the cost-benefit analysis tied to selecting a speaker for any event. Ensure that your audience is educated, engaged, and empowered. Connect with us for a quick response and tailored advice. Book your speakers now.
I want to pick up on a comment you made before we went to break. You mentioned the trip to London, and the trip to London was with the person who interviewed you just starting out, and you gave them your 5 year plan. You made it in 6 years. Do you look back over your career at this point and look at people that have now risen to higher levels, and how does that make you feel when you knew them and they were coming in, maybe they didn't have the confidence level, and you coached them, and now they're leaders inside of the hospitality industry or wherever they landed? How does that feel?
I really feel happy. The reason because I had a lot of difficulties, to tell you the truth. I was not gifted same as the other staff. When I'm going and I'm coaching and I'm giving them access to my PA, to teach them about the emails and communication. It was not the same way. It was completely different. I had many challenges actually. Because within the organization you have different politics, especially when you are coming, from down to reach on. It's not easy actually, but you need to break because you have the ability to break. You need to be diplomatic. You need to have all those leadership qualities to see that where you have to threat, where you have to be diplomatic, and where you have to cross that barrier actually. Not that everybody can carry this, but sometimes people, they have this strength, but on the other side they have weaknesses. And that what I realized, that being a leader, I need to pick all those weaknesses one by one and to keep into strength. So it's not only that what I did for myself. No, I'm doing for them. The reason, because I think that people who are working under me, they are my responsibility the same way as my children. If I want to make them doctors, I want to make them lawyer, I have to think about them also, because they are trusting on me as a father, as a leader. So I have to perform a role like a real leader.
If I could mold your leadership principles and just spread it across the globe, organizations would not have to deal with turnover. They would have a trusting environment, and everyone would do well and live happily ever after. If I was able to just take that mold of what you're talking about, the leadership mold, the new leadership mold, and spread it across.
Thank you.
Yeah. There was a book written by a good friend of mine, Jim Gartner, who's the chief scientist for Gallup, and the name of the book was "It's the Managers," and it talked about that same thing, that if leaders were doing the right things inside of organization, a lot of the business challenges and ills that we're facing would be diminished somewhat. And it talked through the need for leadership development. So I wanted to ask your thoughts on, as you bring your minus ones or minus twos together, and maybe you do a leadership seminar, you may not call it that. What are key points that you talk through as you develop your next line of leaders, and how do you keep them focused?
See, I think that the leaders need to be authentic. It has to be natural. Once you are performing, you need to win the trust of the people. People need to trust on you. The owners need to trust on you. You need to be really very authentic. And even the customer need to trust on you. So it's like combination. Similarly, your personality need to be inspiring actually. You need to inspire other people, and inspire with actions actually. It's not only words. It should be with the actions, so people can see that, oh, you are really inspiring them. And whatever role you have, then you need to deliver, because that deliverability should come also. So if you're not delivering, you cannot really be a leader also. So these are like the three common things which you need to have: the authenticity, then you need to be inspiring, and you need to be delivering.
So you mentioned the word authentic, and I thought back to a situation in New York years ago. I got in an elevator, and another gentleman came in, and he looked outside, and he was just pushing the button to close it. He wanted the door to close, and all of a sudden, the gentleman walked up, and the door closed on that gentleman. And I asked him, "Why did you do that?" He said, "I apologize to you. That was my CEO." And he said the guy is a major phony. Everyone knows he's a phony. And he'd come on here. He gets my name wrong every time he talks to me. He's just a phony. And I just did not want to deal with it. And I'm like, wow. And I'm thinking, how many other people in that organization feel that way? How does that impact business performance? And that's just the same thing you're talking about. So being authentic, that you come through as a real person, or versus someone coming through with a script saying, well, I got to say all the key words, but after that's over, I still go back to my normal kind of, operating procedure.
Right. Absolutely. You're absolutely. I agree with you.
Yeah. So, one other thing I wanted to ask you. So you started your career at coming to Dubai, and you started at this particular level. How did you manage that career to where you are today? Because the key point in thinking through that, I'm sure there were a lot of days you got up, the confidence level wasn't there. Maybe the imposter syndrome came in. You didn't feel you were making progress. How did you manage that? The normal ways of doing business and what we're faced with. How did you manage that progression to stay focused to get where you are today?
I mean, Ron, when I was a student, I was in student politics. So I was like a student leader. When I came into hotel job, the first job was the former Intercontinental, which is a Pearl Continental. It's a big property in Lahore, Pakistan. So I developed a union, which was the CBA, Chartered Union, Labor Union. So I was defending actually the rights of the employees who are really doing night duty, and they are disturbed because they don't have really a separate rooms. They go back. So I was fighting for the rights to get for them the night allowances, and then to having the debates with the management. So when I came here, I mean in UAE, I mean it was completely different, I mean level. I mean I know that I am here because that the tourism is totally different level compared to my country. So when I came here, actually, I actually utilized all those leadership skills what I did in student time, what I did in labor union time, and then I was negotiating with the management to get the benefit for the staff. I utilized, and then that really helped me a lot because over here was 200 nationalities. It was not only like one nationality like in my country. So I was dealing actually with the different nationalities, different culture, different religion, different faith. So believe you me, actually, it was really good for me because I changed myself, because I become more global rather than only like a one person, And my faith was, though, I mean, like my faith, but as a matter of fact, I learned actually from the other faith, from the other culture. So I learned actually, and I think that I was blessed that I landed in UAE because UAE is blended with so many nationalities. And that I learned and I picked all good things actually. And I don't mind that when you have a good things to copy, it's always good. It's not bad thing at all. And believe you me, in my personality, wearing, talking, I learned a lot of things. I think it was UAE is really a school, I mean, because you have a different culture, different faith, different colors, and each person has a positive. So leave negative aside. You need to see that what someone has really a good pick it, and then you adopt it. And that was really a strength of this country, which really made me today on this position, actually.
Yeah. That was a major learning for me, understanding different nationalities, because when you come from a certain region, that tends to be the mold. And then you go to another region, 200 nationalities that you're dealing with on a day to day basis. And it causes you to rethink a lot of the thoughts you had. So you look, as you said, so the key, looking for the positive, and you deal with that.
Yes.
The first time we met, you gave a speech, and one of the stories that I keep coming back to, you told a story about how you invited workers' families to stay doing downtime, and what that meant to employees. Because as you said, you come to this 2 years, you're not seeing your family, and coming to stay in those properties. Can you tell that story again? Because I thought that was so inspirational. And when you told that story, I'm like, wow, that is such a heartwarming story to show that you care for people as a leader. Can you share that?
Ron, very interesting, actually. Thank you for reminding me. I mean, I love seeing this, and I always enjoy, I mean, sharing this story, on many occasions in different seminars and different conferences. That when I was empowered by the owners, And I did all with one intention, that I had always good steps for the betterment of the staff, but ultimately the results were coming better for the employer also, because it was really maybe not direct, but indirectly they were getting benefit out of it. So I realized that summer is low period in UAE, and I had 700 rooms actually. I mean, I had 3 hotels and 700 rooms, managing 650 staff. So I decided that 1st June till 30th of September is a lean period, which is a low season. And I announced in one of our monthly celebration that, guys, from now onward, I mean, anyone want to bring your family,
Wow.
just bear the ticket, and then you will be getting actually the accommodation 1 month free in the hotel rooms. And on top of it, you will be utilizing the hotel transport to go and to take your families to show them the Dubai Mall and other excursion. And you will be having full board, that you will be eating in staff cafeteria. So your wives or your brother, you can bring them. And you know that first year, it was about like 10 to 15 enrollment, from the staff. And one of the staff, I mean, his wife, she said to his husband that, that I want to see the general manager. So he was working in laundry, and she came. I mean, Cheryl told me that he wanted to bring his wife. So when she came to me, Ron, you cannot imagine the real feeling.
Oh,
She was tear off, and that I said, sister, talk to me. And she could not stop her tear. And she said, no, it was my dream to come and to see Dubai, because whenever he was coming, he's working here for 20 years. And whenever he was coming and telling me stories, and I saw in the TV, and I wished that one day I should go. And I was praying. And finally, this dream come true because of you. So I said, no, it's not because of me, because he's making effort and bringing the profit of this hotel. And this hotel is doing more profits than any hotel in the UAE. And you deserve it, I mean, that whatever you got, actually, you deserve it. And so many stories, that people came, they stayed. And not only this, Ron, what I did actually for the deaf schools in Pakistan. Richard, I mean, one of the guy I need to introduce you. Richard is in Pakistan. He has a deaf schools, more than 10,000 students, in his school. So I give this in one of the conference in Dubai, that you bring your teachers who are teaching to the deaf, and during summer, June till September, they can stay 7 days, free of charge in our hotel. And that so many teachers, they came along with their children, and they enjoyed, because it was appreciation to those people who are really doing this job. So, I mean, these things were really there because I had empowerment, and I was using this empowerment with sense and giving back to the society. And then, the blessing was that the hotel was doing profit more than any other hotel, actually, because at the end I was getting blessings from these people, actually.
oh, wow. You told that story. When you told that story, I never forgot that story. And I'm thinking, how many other properties are sitting there not being used? And one initiative can create so much engagement and trust in within the organization because leadership cared. Something as simple as that.
Yeah, but I mean, Ron, within this stay, one time, one guy stayed, and he brought actually one of the student. I mean, he was really very good painter, like in paint, in the room painting.
Hmm.
So, he told me, this teacher, he said that, I brought purposely to introduce you, that he's deaf, but he can do really paint room, I mean, better than others. So you can get a trial. We did trial Ron, and he was doing better job than the other, the painters in the hotel. And even till today, he's working in that hotel, and we hired him, So,
Wow.
that in this case, I mean, so many good things which we did in the past, and even we are doing on daily basis. I think these are really very important. Being a corporate companies, we should take part, actually. I mean, we should not take as burden. We should not take only as a responsibility.
Yeah.
I have already proven that, even to look at the commercial point of view also, because these stories were published in many newspaper and TVs in Pakistan.
Mhm.
And this guy is hired, and he's speaking to them, in a sign languages. And you are promoting your property, So at the end, it's a win-win situation.
You know, you make it sound so easy, and the thought process, and it's a feel good situation, but it's helping the business case on the flip side of that. It's just amazing. It's just amazing to me. And I love to hear stories like that because it's a feel good situation, but you're doing great. And that comes back under what you said in the beginning was people sustainability. So as we begin to close, I want to ask you one question. So your branding is around leadership. Your branding is around sustainability. How does a young person that's just starting out on their road to be a manager, a leader, whatever it is, how do you build and sustain a brand to become seen as that person? This is the brand. So when someone sees you, there's sustainability and they know off the charts leadership.
I mean, Ron, it's not difficult at all. I mean, I shared my story to you. It's really a one side is a, like for a property level as a case study, as a business case study. On the other side, on a personal level, is a case study also. I mean, anyone who really want to achieve something, they need to have a vision, in their mind. And once they have a vision, they need to work on it. There should be a plan to achieve those goals actually,
Mm.
and make your vision high, and take risk in your life. Without taking risk, you cannot make it, because if you are always afraid, you cannot take higher risk in your life, and then you will achieve with the hard work and with the passion. And if you will not have the passion to achieve something, you cannot make it. I mentioned, previously, that if you're working in some property, unless you will not consider that you own this property, you cannot bring result. Believe you me, on daily basis, I'm seeing actually hundreds and thousands of staff, one hotel to another hotel. When I checked in, I stayed over there. People are different. Some people are so engaged, they love their job, and you can see with their actions.
It comes
You
out.
can see that that it's coming from them, and they are tomorrow's leader. But if you think that everything should come in a plate, it will never come. You will not get actually as a gift. You need to earn it. All those empowerment come, and management is not blind anywhere in the world. When they will see that someone has really potential, it will
Mhm.
come to you. If
Mhm.
not in one property, in other property. But don't give up, keep continue, and then success will come to you then.
Yeah. I see a comment here from my friend from Lagos, Anife. She says, "This is so inspiring. It simply takes caring, interestingly, and may not even cost a lot." Well done. Well done. So that's a comment just came through. So thank you so much for carving out time. I know you're a busy person, but I've been looking forward to this because I know you would bring it to the table. So as we begin to close out, I want you to hang on for a second because I'm going to talk with you offline, and then I'll come back. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a real pleasure. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Cool.